You guys are heading to Juan's event?
Yeah, we're gonna be there.
Excellent.
Right.
Excellent. I wanted to be. I had planned to be,
Oh,
but
but you're unfortunately you're the storm that hit you, right?
yeah, yeah, it changed a lot
Yep.
for now. Yeah.
Well, here we are, Cathy O'Brien. We're talking about our. She just recently had a storm that hit her home. We're gonna, ask for donations. I gave a nice little donation for. She's trying to recover her home. We'll show some pictures of that in a second. Tell us about that, Cathy. What happened?
Well, I was just working on my MK Ultra papers. I've got some important paperwork that I was pulling together, and I was real focused on it. And it started to rain a bit, and I thought I better save my information. About the time I had that thought, the house was covered in 38 trees. It was instantaneous. There was no tornado warning. There was no drop in, pressure like I usually would feel with a tornado. There was no indication whatsoever. Just all of a sudden, wham slam, and neighbors spent the next few days, digging us out where we could at least get out the doors and get some electric crew up here and get our power hook back on. So um, it was quite a surprise. I'm amazed that nobody was hurt. This is just miracle of miracles in that regard. Um, and the house is still standing. It's damaged. The roof is ripped up. There's a lot of problems. The retaining walls were all knocked down. The garage was smashed. The truck was smashed. Carport. It was really a lot of damage. But here I am right now. Power's on, sitting here, and just so happy to be able to have this conversation with you. And um, I look forward to moving forward on um, the the paperwork that I was working on when the storm hit, because it's timely, it's important, it's crucial, because MK Ultra, um, has been on everybody's mind these days, and I've got a huge piece of that puzzle.
Wow. So, you want to share a little bit of it with us?
Oh, well, I've found that people aren't connecting the dots. They're not understanding how deep the roots go on it.
Hmm.
And when MK Ultra files were declassified a little over a year ago now, and thousands of documents, but obviously there's a lot of important ones that weren't declassified. My case is still under national security. I've got national security. If people try to get freedom of information on me and and transformation of America, that they'll find national security is still on it. So obviously there's a lot that still needs to be revealed for people to understand, which
Hmm.
may be why the MK Ultra hearings were canceled May 13th, or
Wow.
postponed, I guess, and and why all those documents were taken from Tulsi Gabbard's office. CIA is obviously scared people are going to find out the truth.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And that's kind of you understand all that. Of course, you and Mark, once CIA helped you, break free from the trafficking, you and your daughter. So he was well informed about the CIA's patterns and tried to expose
Yeah.
that along with you. So that's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that, I mean, the MK Ultra is like, it's worldwide. It's not, people
Right.
are like, well, some people have been affected by it. No, everyone is affected by MK Ultra.
Yes. Yeah. Especially mind control masked as a virus. It was unleashed on the global population 2020. Gave everyone a taste of mind control right there. They all fell for the most basic form of mind control, the repetitive media narrative. Mask up, social distance, get the injection. How many times did we hear that? That programs the subconscious. And when the conscious mind is distracted with trauma, or perceived trauma, then uh, that leaves people suggestible to that repetitive narrative. So the more people know, the more they'll see how we're being manipulated and be able to stop that manipulation.
Yeah, and that repetitiveness, like you talk about, that happens quite often. Uh, and how is it that people can't see through that? It's like it gets repeated over and over again. It's just like, and then people accept it as fact.
Right. And they've been conditioned for generations to look outside themselves to authority and not research further because that's just part of the multi-generational aspect of MK Ultra. And I find that the I make comments and I see what people are saying and they don't understand that this has been going on since we imported the Nazi and fascist scientists into the US with Project Paperclip in the
Hmm.
wake of World War II. That's a long time. And they've been using multi-generational MK Ultra mind control Project Monarch, sub-project Monarch, to manipulate the generations into slow compliance over time. That's why it's a 100-year plan that is supposed to conclude with the Agenda 2030. But who knows? You know, mind control never seems to go away, no matter how many times they say that it has. It hasn't. It's only expanded. It continues to expand and accelerate and advance technologically.
Yeah, and we saw so many cases where they used that 2020, the most secure election in history. Of course, it wasn't. The vaccination is safe. You won't get it if you get vaccinated, and then everybody did, and a lot of people are still suffering from that, and
Yeah.
a lot of people are no longer with us because of that. So that's one of the things that you think people would wake up to it. Now, you're writing this report. There was supposed to be a congressional hearing on all this. They got canceled. Wow, just not too long ago. It's what, about a month back? They were supposed to do it, right?
Yeah, it's about a month ago now. Yeah, yeah, and all that was postponed, and the need for the information is stronger than ever. The
Sure.
hearings have got to happen so people understand how they're being manipulated, and how trauma is being used to manipulate. And I have so many pieces of that puzzle. Like at this point, there's so many people that have been affected by the corruption in child protective services, realizing that CPS is really part of the trafficking pipeline. And the evidence is overwhelming on it. And so many people are affected. They're like, okay, what can we do to avoid that? You know, so there's things people can do. Most of all, number one, be aware. Um, know how this system was structured and that we can't wait on government to fix it for us. Um,
Thank
it's
you.
up
Yeah.
to us. It's up to us to do it. So it's a matter of showing the roots of corruption and providing a solution going forward so that people can start being effective in protecting our children.
Yep. And you know, we've seen. I just had a gentleman on, Craig Lunn, wrote Silicon Satan, and he talks about of course, he's been exposed to all of this in uh, in the internet, group, Silicon Valley, and all that.
Oh,
He talks about all of that, craziness. And so he says there's like a Trinity type thing: Hollywood, political class, and Silicon Valley. So all three of those are basically, controlling us, controlling our minds, MK Ultra, and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah.
he's go ahead.
Oh, I just emphatically agree. You know, I mean, you factor education into it too. And ultimately their goal was to align us with artificial intelligence and and stop people from thinking. I mean, artificial intelligence is not smart. You know, we have to be dumbed down to fit into that 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 frequency because when we have wisdom, when we have the strength of the human spirit and the infinite power of love, we have this vastness of intuitions and intelligence and wisdom. And like Mark always said, wisdom outthinks their criminal minds and artificial intelligence every time.
Mm.
So it takes that what you just described. It takes Hollywood and the political landscape and big tech and really education too in order to dumb people down. Our humanity is under attack, and we've got to start protecting it because, having been around them, um, Michael, that these perpetrators aren't like us, and they do not like us. They're low vibration, dark negative energy force that feeds off of low vibration, dark negative energy. That they feed off of fear and trauma, division and hatred, and they literally feed off of trauma with the adrenochrome and all like that. And we've got to understand that their greatest fear is the strength of the human spirit and the infinite power of love. That's a high vibration. It's such a high vibration, they can't reach it. That would be like darkness creeping in on light. It can't happen. And they fear that because they know it's our divine victory. It's our innate victory. It's what we have within us. We are born with that victory, and it scares them because they know our wisdom would outthink their artificial intelligence and criminal minds. So they can't reach that high vibration. The only thing they can do is use traumatic mind control to use that to dumb us down. Because I know from my life's experience, without free thought there's no free will. Without free will and soul expression, we lose our discernment of truth, our ability for compassion for each other, our ability to go within and align with that divine and gather that strength of spirit, and ultimately really live our life's purpose and claim our victory. So that's why mind control is being used on a global scale. This is an assault on our humanity. And in that regard, mind control is a spiritual warfare. It's one where we've got the victory, but people have to remember that. They got to be able to think to go within and and realign with that divine within, which is why I just wrote my most recent book, Align with the Divine, because um, that's our victory space. We all need to do that. We all need to remember who we are and why we're here.
Yeah,
Claim that victory.
that's a great book. I downloaded that and I've been listening to it. Very good, very nice. We think so much alike on the love and connecting with that divine source and everything. So very very beautifully done. Now we look at I never even thought about all of them combined like that, Cathy. You just awakened me to that. It's like I would think about the political system being separate, coming at us and dumbing us down, but they're all combined, working
Yeah.
together. Oh, God, it
Hmm.
makes so much sense. Duh. So brilliant, brilliant. Now Epstein. All right. So I talked to this gentleman, Craig London. He says Epstein is just like that's a distraction. There's so many
Yes.
more of those out there
Yes. Yes.
still.
Yeah, and they've been around forever, my whole lifetime. So I'm looking at all of that and realizing, that it will help for people to understand how MK Ultra has infiltrated into everything and has affected our politics. It's big tech. It is Hollywood. It's all these components and aspects of it, because when people can connect the dot, they'll start to realize, oh, it's just this one thing, and all we need to do is remember who we are and why we're here. So it's so spiritually evolutionary, and I'm so excited to get to be part of this aspect of solutions, and that's what I was working on so hard when the tornado hit, and things have just been its own whirlwind ever since.
That's so crazy that you had no warning and it just
None.
bam, it hit. It's almost like you were targeted. It's like you've probably been targeted so many times.
It is very strange because my neighbors just down the driveway didn't even have a leaf in their yard. Nobody, a couple,
Oh,
a couple of campers got damaged at the resort across the street, and aside from that, we took the whole thing. We took the whole thing. It's 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 so hard. I'm so pleased that this house that Mark and I, you know, built up, that it's still standing. It's got a
right.
lot of damage, but it's standing. Mark's sacred library and the museum pieces in this house, they're all secured. Of course, we got the tarp on the roof and all that, keeping it secured. But um, to me, everything that counts is it's like it's okay. Everything else can be rebuilt. But Michael, the other thing that really breaks my heart is all those trees and all the nature that was damaged in this process, because
Mm.
my yard is a sanctuary for wildlife, um and now it's just a giant heap of busted, twisted trees,
Wow.
um and so many. I mean, I've never seen anything like it, and
Hmm.
we'll need to replant. And it's one thing just trying to be able to get funds raised to fix the roof, and it's so difficult in that regard. And it's like, oh man, if only there was enough to plant some trees back,
Yeah.
um, and take care of the nature and the wildlife and that beauty, that beautiful aspect too. That's um that's hard to see every day. A lot of
Yeah.
sunlight coming in this house.
Yeah. All the trees were taken down. Wow.
Yeah.
It's so amazing. You get targeted like that. Wow.
Yeah, I'm not, whether it was or wasn't, it's
Yeah.
abstractly weird. um didn't have anything that I know of with the rotation. My daughter Kelly was standing out on the front porch and had no clue it was anything was happening aside from rain coming on.
Yeah.
And then she saw what looked like a tornado drop down, right out in our field here. But she said the rotation was backwards from what any tornado she ever saw. So, and the
Hmm.
reports, there's just like ho hum, a storm, but it was no question about it, like a tornado. And yet all the trees, on all sides of the house, all fell towards the house, as though they were, sucked this direction. I don't know what kind of weather phenomena that would be. um it's abstract and I don't understand it, and I just feel real fortunate that nobody was hurt. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. It's glad. I'm glad that no one was hurt. But yeah, what a crazy storm. Uh,
Yeah.
and we know that
Yeah.
these crazies can use weather and earthquakes and all that kind of stuff. So
Oh
you're
yeah.
trying to get the MK Ultra stuff out, and
Yeah.
they stopped it. They shut it down. Why did they get? What was the reason for not doing that congressional investigation?
Threats, fear. I don't know. Nothing I would cave into. Um,
Yeah,
that it should have gone forward, but we need to be mindful that anybody that they have present information is a genuine survivor and not one that's being paid, because there's a lot of survivors being paid to point the finger in directions that don't belong, like the media does with the Epstein thing. As soon as we start to see perpetrators, they go fall back on their Trump derangement syndrome and go, look at Trump, look at Trump, and the survivors are saying it's not Trump, but any of them that know that or say that, you know, are are silent. So, we need the full truth out there. We need to get to the bottom of all this. And ultimately, we need to uproot the whole thing so the swamp will drain.
Hmm. Yeah, so it could be because I'm looking at it. Says Representative Anna Paulina Luna
Yeah.
was said the task force on the declassification of federal secrets, a subpanel of the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee, will hold a hearing next month, and this was in April. So you're right, into the
Yeah.
controversial MK Ultra program. So I guess the disappearance of those files from Tulsi Gabbard's office is the reason why they said that they had to, postpone it.
Yeah. And
Wow.
then the some Kennedy files disappeared too. And of course, the Kennedy assassination is when the perpetrators took over our so much of our nation anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
that's definitely part of my experience in MK Ultra because Gerald Ford was responsible for my victimization, and he's the one who covered up the Kennedy assassination with the Warren Commission, and then
Mm,
was rewarded with the presidency for having done so. And at that point, they really took over strong, put in the electronic voting machines, that were rigged since their inception. You look at Ford's cabinet, we've been through that before, and it's
right.
it's the same old players, and it's such a pivotal time that it's interesting that the MK Ultra files and Kennedy files were taken um, from that office. And how odd, how many coincidences does it take to make a fact? How odd that Tulsi Gabbard resigned right after.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on that? I've heard from different sources that she may have been involved in some way. Do you know anything about that?
I don't know anything about that
Yeah.
whatsoever. I don't. My concern, instead of trying to sift through the kaleidoscope of change and illusion, and like that,
Good
I
point.
stick right to the reality. We got to get the information out there. People need to start connecting the dots, realize it's all interconnected. MK Ultra is the common thread weaving through all of this corruption, this mess, what's happening with our children. We've got to understand that, and so this information is pertinent. Knowledge is our defense against it. Censorship has been extensive, and it's thank God for people like you getting truth out there, so that people at least have some place to go where they can get pertinent information that's genuinely applicable to what in the world is going on.
Excellent. So you obviously have a lot of information. Uh, they could probably just bring you in, whatever those files were. They're probably relevant. They would probably give some good, background and confirmation and so forth. But don't you have like tremendous amounts of information that you could share, and they could just do the whole study on you?
That I have a lot of information, and there's other amazing survivors out there that are coming up
Sure.
with huge pieces of the puzzle, and it all needs to be heard. And I've been saying it for over 35 years, so silencing me now is kind of stupid. I'm not gonna stop or be stopped. I'm gonna get
Mhm.
the information out there. This um I, I look forward to getting this this tornado bit behind, so that I can move forward and resume what I was doing, because I'm extremely excited about what what I had on my plate, and where I was headed before this, kind of momentarily derailed things.
So, have they given you any insight on when it might be started up again?
None. I haven't heard a thing.
Oh,
No, and it's like crickets in DC about the confiscated files.
yeah.
Why isn't Isn't that, I don't really know, but it seems treasonous to violate presidential order like that and do that. I don't know. I don't understand how that can just be
Yeah,
swept
I'm
under a rug.
looking forward to seeing what Juan's thoughts on that are. I'll see him in a couple days, so that's definitely one of my questions.
Yeah. Oh, I had hoped to be at that event,
Oh, that would have been
and
great.
knowing you're going to be there, all the more reason. I wish.
Yeah, we haven't met in person yet, so that'll be great too. No, we have.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
met you in
briefly,
Ohio,
Bri-
didn't we? That's right. That's right.
briefly.
And why
Yeah,
don't
I definitely
we?
want more though.
That's right. Yep. Amazing. And I know you and Tracy hit it off really well too. So that's
Yes.
fantastic. Yeah. And a lot of other people, Lynn Hagerman, that I work with, and she connected with you really well.
Is she going to be there?
I don't think she's going to be at this
Oh wow! I was going to say, oh my gosh, yeah, yeah. She's another one of those survivors that
exactly.
needs her voice, her piece of the puzzle, absolutely heard. Yeah, she's amazing. I think the world of her, and
That's
um,
beautiful. She'll love
yeah,
that.
love her dearly. Yeah.
So yeah, so the you you've been involved in this circle. You've seen these people for what 30 years you were involved or longer.
Yeah, the first 30 years, I was exposed to the top, and I was thinking how, I was used to deliver messages to and from
Right.
government leaders because of the way the brain works. It photographically records events surrounding trauma. So when you're in traumatized state, the brain's on photographic record. They
Wow.
use that for delivering messages
Hmm.
and accessing them and everything else. So they know the brain works that way. But these idiot perpetrators would stand around talking in front of me all the time while I'm in a traumatized state. Of course, they thought I was going to be killed like so many before me at Bohemian Grove when I turned age 30, and their secrets would die with me. But that didn't happen, and so I've got all this photographic recall of their plans, what they had in mind, seeing what they intended to have unfolding versus what's actually unfolding. But it gave me a lot of insight into their infiltrations into so many aspects of our society, and the plans in that regard. So my testimony is definitely extensive. It's more than is just in Transformation of America. That was the 1995 testimony for Congress, that was condensed into a book form real quick so it could be released to all members of Congress, so they would have the information anyway. So it's there, but um, there's a lot more pieces of the puzzle that need to be brought forward.
Yeah. So their plans. So you mentioned their plans are not quite happening the way they thought they would. What have you seen that's been disrupted?
Well, the main thing was that so many of us were awake and aware in 2016
Really?
that the sheer numbers of us overrode the rigged electronic algorithm in the voting machine. Nobody saw that coming. People did not want Hillary Clinton in the New World Order. And we ended up with President Trump, who started showing us the swamp, and
Mhm.
and the deep state, the globalist agendas about. And so that was a huge turning point. They never saw that coming. Hillary Clinton was supposed to be in. That was the structure. They were already losing control, though. But it was supposed to stay in the Bush Clinton dynasties until Hillary ushered it in. But they had to slip Obama in there for a while because they had lost a lot of control, and they had to manipulate things around a bit. Uh, it obviously, took its toll in a lot of ways. But these are things I've seen that aren't working. And now I'm seeing where people, again, knowledge is our defense against mind control. And
Hmm.
the knowledge gained 2020 with mind control masked as a virus gave people a lot of insight into saying, no, I am not going to comply with big pharma. I'm not going to cave into fear. I'm not going to mask up. I'm not going to get more injections. People are getting it. They're thinking, and seeing. But I think what we need now more than anything is to see some justice, against these perpetrators. We know who they are. Um, our justice system just is isn't working, and but we all need to see justice. It's like when I started remembering what I'd done under mind control and I couldn't deal with it. Mark told me that that I'm not responsible for what I did under mind control, that my abusers are responsible for that and they need to be held accountable for that. But now that I'm aware, I am responsible for all my actions going forward. So that was such a huge turning point for me of realizing, okay, everything I do is going to be true to soul, out of love for humanity. I'm gonna choose my own path. I mean, it was just a huge turning point, and really everybody on a global scale needs to see that because they realize mind control masked as a virus had programmed it to do the unthinkable, and they're seeing the results of that, and many people are grieving and they feel guilty and everything else, and they need to see those responsible for that locked up. And yet, you know here we are, just sitting in the same place without seeing any justice. No justice in the Epstein files. Nobody locked up for raping children. No justice. It blows my mind that the Clintons are still walking free when everybody, everywhere knows they've were have been guilty for generations, and the evidence has been right there for a long time. You know, we need to see some justice.
Yeah, definitely. And some of that justice comes about through prayer. In your book, Align with the Divine, definitely is helping people see that. In every show that we talk about the power of love, and I think it's making an impact. It seems like things are breaking down, not at the pace and at the rate that we would like to see them, not at the rest cycle that we would like to see happen, but it seems to be having some impact. What are your thoughts?
Oh, yeah, I absolutely love that. It's like there's a mental and spiritual evolution that's happening with or
Mm,
without justice, with or without the government,
good point.
with or without um, big tech or the media validating that reality, because it's an individual journey and people are going within, they're reconnecting with their true nature and remembering who they are and why they're here. Ultimately, that's where our victory is. That is what people are moving into. I'm confident in humanity. I'm confident in the strength of the human spirit, and I'm excited to see other people waking up to embrace it.
Yeah, it's definitely beautiful, and there's good comments that are coming through. Get some good views going on, so this will probably get good views and spread like we like to see it. It needs to continue, uh, even though we do what we can. Sometimes we're attacked, like you just said. I think that when I saw that you had this storm that hit, I was like, she got targeted. That's the first thing that came to me, and now that I'm hearing there was almost nothing else that was hit other than your house on the level that was hit. I'm like, it's crazy. So it's frustrating, and we do our best to help each other out. So I hope people will help contribute to helping you get your house, and maybe your trees back. Hopefully, I mean, we can't say
Oh yeah.
maybe. Definitely,
Yeah.
those trees should come back. So get some planning done. Wow, it's now. How long have you lived there? Mark, rescued you and your daughter and brought all your farm animals and everything. Was that the place where you guys went?
It's we went here soon after. We lived here since Trance came out, like in 19 since from 1996.
Okay.
So it's been I've been in this beautiful place for 30 years. All
Mm,
the years that Mark and I were in it, we were building it up because um, it was in extreme disrepair
mhm.
back then, and we built it with love and all of Mark's MacGyvering capabilities that he could do, which is extensive. And I tell you, it made it strong enough to withstand that blast and
Uh,
the damage to the roof and the places that were damaged so horrifically. um, Definitely, can be repaired, need to be repaired, and I'm just going to be um, happy to be able to move past this difficult time. And I'm so very, very grateful to all the people who have reached out, the people who care, all the love, all the prayers. um, it's just been um, it's just been so beautiful. And they're helping out with the GoFundMe, getting that information out that we need help is difficult, but yet people are sharing it and doing what they can. So I deeply appreciate that, and I appreciate you and um, your kind care and compassion and ability to get the word out there too. So thank you so much for that. Hopefully that it'll make um, a big enough difference to get through this curve fast.
yeah, and since I gifted, just a little while ago, the numbers are up nicely. So the word's getting out there. So hopefully, people get you to where you need. There's quite a lot of devastation you can see in the picture. So it'll come back. We'll
Yeah,
get you.
yeah.
You've given a
Yeah.
lot to humanity. You deserve to have some support. So I think people are
Well,
going to.
that is sweet. That is so sweet. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Well, definitely have. I mean, even you're still working to like help humanity with the MK Ultra stuff, and that's a huge reveal. Once that really breaks out and people see how politicians and so forth have been manipulated, and not just politicians, like we're talking about the big tech and Hollywood,
Yeah.
all the whole and the educational system. I mean, we could go on and on. The military system, it's all been infiltrated through this MK
Mhm.
Ultra mind control program, and of course the CIA, FBI. So all these different groups are just riddled, and so that's probably why they're going out of the way to make sure it doesn't these hearings don't happen.
I guess so. There's so many there's so many survivors emerging now. There's so many that have been affected, but now they're actually daring to come forward. They're like, oh, I'm not the only one. Okay, and it's very
Yeah,
helpful to them, and they'll reach out to me for a very crucial healing tip that just makes all the difference for them. And their needs have not gone away with this tornado. You know what I mean? It's all still there, and it's as intensive as ever. And I want to be there for everybody. It's My power's only been back on for a couple days. It's been real intermittent. It's been um, difficult for over well over a week, for about 2 weeks.
yeah,
And I'm glad to have the power back on so I can have the communication and actually be able to effectively help people. There's a lot of them that have had to wait till I could get back, and a lot of people don't have time. A lot of the survivors don't have that time, so
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to catching up.
very good. And I got turned on to Kay Griggs many years ago. Uh, she unveiled MK Ultra mind control
Yeah,
operations as well, and she said they were part of organized crime out of New York and New Jersey, and they were had infiltrated military personnel. There was drug trafficking and human trafficking and all that stuff going on through the military. We've heard those stories over time. Have you do you know Kay Griggs or any of her story?
I know of her,
Yeah,
and I knew that she was among the first to emerge. Is she still speaking out? Is she still out there?
she went she went on the down low for a while,
Hmm.
and she popped up and did a show, and I haven't heard from her again. When was? Let me see if I can. The last show I think she did was last year, March 15th. She kind of
Wow.
popped up and did a show. Very, um, you know, secretive. She met with a guy at a place and they talked, and I don't even think they even showed her. It was just her voice, and she talked about how she'd been laying low, and but she's revealed again. So it was very interesting.
Yeah, so many that came out that early didn't survive, and she was one of very few who did.
Yeah,
And I was always encouraged to know she was out there.
good.
And that's
Just like you say, I think of other people that have inspired me to speak out. And I think we just keep each other moving. We help other people out there that are, watching us. That there is a possibility that we can take down the system if we work together
yeah.
and work through, love and connection to source and so forth.
Absolutely. That's what's going to make the difference is as people uniting and making that kind of difference. I don't know how much of the corruption can actually be cleaned up. I'm kind of thinking that the best thing we can do is just step over here and
Yeah,
and restructure. People helping people. It's always the best way. Healing from any level of trauma is within us by divine design, and we just need to remember that and apply it. Above all, survivors need a safe place to be, and then they can heal. It's just the way that we're made. But that safe place um, is not the system that's been structured. It's not child protective services. It's not the law enforcement justice system that we got right now.
yeah,
It's people helping people. That's where the safety is, and they open up their homes and their hearts to help others. And ultimately, that's the way society should be anyway.
yeah. It should be. And we've seen a lot of people that have come out that haven't, like we talked about, survived. So the Epstein, people that came out, and uh, Virginia Guthrie, she came out and just blew it all open, and then now she's gone. It's like, wow. It's like they keep sending messages to people that
Yeah.
would speak out and talk, not to do it or else.
Right. I mean, how many others? It's very disturbing. I look at that trend that happens in that regard.
Yeah,
You know, um, uh, it it seems like good people get locked up as an example. The January Sixers, and it seems like Tina Peters. What that is so such an outrage, and it's like saying okay, if you stand up for truth, if you stand up for freedom, this is going to happen to you. And they just need one hard example that stays in the media eye, and it scares a lot of people. Ultimately we got to get over the fear, get past the fear, and realize that they can't lock us all up. They can't shut us all up. They can't shut us down. Obviously not. We're stronger than ever. More of us awake and aware than ever before.
Yeah.
It's our time to realize we are by far the majority. It's absolutely inexcusable that we let this handful of low vibration, dark, negative energy force perpetrators manipulate our brilliant minds and lives anymore. It's our time to shine. We're all together. We can shine our light so bright that not only do we expose what's going on in their darkness, but we can eradicate their darkness once and for all. It's our victory. We know that we have that victory. We just need to claim it and unite and start living the love we are and sharing it with each other.
Yeah. So we're seeing the, Belfast, Ireland. They're starting to, push back on the government corruption and so forth. It's kind of, I look at that as like it's like, yes, finally, people are standing up, and unfortunately, it seems like it's got to come to this where people really have to, stand up and push back on this.
Mhm.
I think it's going to start to, go out. I think they're going to try everything that they can to like stop this in Belfast. They could come down hard on the Irish, but the Irish are fighters. So
Yeah.
if any place that it could have started, that's probably the best place. So, uh,
Yeah.
and I hope it spreads. I hope it spreads around the world because that might be the only way we take them down.
If it is, I mean, what we got to protect our children.
Yeah,
They are
and our women.
trafficking
I
and
mean, look at you and
harvesting
your
our
daughter. It's like
children.
it's insane. Men should stand up and protect the women. So this is the way life is. But
Yeah.
through education, politics, movies, and so forth, internet, they've dumbed down the men, and
Yeah.
men have to like stand up and really get aggressive here. Like Mark did with you guys and got you out of there. So that was a beautiful. And here we have you, and we can thank Mark for that because he stood up
Yeah.
against all odds and
Yeah.
made that happen.
Yeah, he did. We all can make a difference right where we are,
Mhm.
and take that stand. We've got to understand that the enemy only has as much power as we give them or let them steal. We've got the capacity to overcome this. We've just got to do it and know what we're up against. It's like awareness is the first step, and that truth empowers people to effectively, you know, take down this mess, to take down that enemy. But we got to get the truth out there. That's it's that's a challenge.
Definitely. And so people can find you on trans-formation.com.
Yes, always my website, trance hyphen formation.com. Of course, all my books are on Audible. I read them myself to preserve the integrity of information
Great.
because
Yeah.
there's, yeah, so they're that way too. But I've secured the information on my website. I post my podcasts and everything else there too. I've got the healing trilogy now, 3 books for healing that's really helping survivors a lot. I'm so excited about that, not only helping them heal but to move forward, because they forget that part. They get so ingrained in that victim mentality um,
Yeah.
um, mode that it's time to move beyond that, and it's easy to do when we align with the divine and allow animals and nature to show us the way back to our nature. And it's,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic. So yeah, it's always a pleasure, honor to have you on, Cathy. And I, still encourage everybody to help Cathy. Oh wow, it just jumped big time. So thanks everybody that's
Oh,
donating. That really makes a difference. So hopefully we can get you to the point where you get your house back to the way it was and get some nice trees planted again. So lots of love to you, Cathy, and thank you so much for all you do for humanity.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much. So much.
Bye-bye.